You wanna know my biggest regret as a runner? After 25 years of being in this sport, a lot of those years coaching too. If I could go back and do it all over again, cross country, indoor track, outdoor track, for 8 years of high school and college, post-collegiate road running, the one thing I would change in my approach to my running is that I just wish I would have focused on getting stronger in addition to all that endurance training. That big regret, not focusing on strength, cost me a lot, especially when I got to the college level and the training was just more substantial. I really had to get comfortable running 60, 70, and then finally 80, sometimes 85 miles a week. And that was a real shock to my body. And there's a couple ways that you can go about getting yourself strong enough to handle the load of heavy training. And that's what I want to talk about in this video, except I don't want to talk about weightlifting. Everyone knows that you can get strong by lifting weights. In fact, it's the best way to get strong. Just like if you want to gain endurance as a runner, the best way to do that is to do long runs and just to run high mileage. But if you want to get strong without going into the weight room, here are 5 ways you can do that. So if you're not getting in the weight room to get strong, let's start with what I think is one of the most accessible ways for any runner to get strong without any equipment. And those are hill sprints or hill strides. I'll include these in the same category because they're similar enough and they have almost the same benefits that either option would work really well for runners. So let's start with hill sprints. Hill sprints are not a workout, they're more like strides, something that you would do after an easy run just to work on your speed, your coordination, your turnover, your general athleticism. Now, a hill sprint is an 8 to 10 second uphill sprint as fast as you can go. So it's maximum intensity. Now, the first one, go at maybe 98% effort just to help yourself warm up. But the rest of your hill sprints, likely 4 to 6 in total, are going to be at maximum effort. Now the key here is to find the steepest hill that you can find. You are going to want to sprint up a very, very steep hill, use gravity to your advantage. It's going to force you to recruit as many muscle fibers as possible to sprint as fast as you can up that hill. And that's just like doing a deadlift or a squat, you know, a super heavy type of weightlifting movement like that, because you have to recruit a ton of muscle fibers. It's a very neural type of activity. You know, you really need to focus and use your brain to recruit those fibers. So it does improve your neuromuscular coordination. But of course, it really helps with strength. Now, hill strides are very similar, but you don't need to find as steep of a hill, and hill strides are going to be a little bit longer. So hill strides are generally 15 to 30 seconds, and you would ease into it. You wouldn't treat it like a repetition at max effort. You would ease into it like a stride, have the first couple steps be relatively easy, you're accelerating into it, and as you get up the hill a little bit, you want to max out at maybe 95, 98% maximum speed. So it's longer and it's slightly slower, and you don't have to find a steep hill. You can do 4 to 6 of these, just like a hill sprint, after an easy run, and they're gonna be a really great way to build speed, strength, and neuromuscular coordination. Now, because these are done uphill, because they force you to recruit a lot of muscle fibers, that is why they're really good at building strength. So if you can't get into the weight room, start with these. Next, we have hill workouts. Now, hill workouts are their own thing. Hill workouts are a faster training session, something that you would do in place of, you know, a tempo run or a series of track repetitions or something like that. This is your dedicated workout. Unlike strides, or hill sprints, those are just more like a drill that you would do after an easy run. Now, the key here is, let's not just do hill workouts. We need to do other types of workouts to build other types of fitness. And so as long as you are strategically building hill workouts into your program, and that does depend on the type of hill. You know, you could be doing longer 3-minute uphill segments at a slower effort, Or you could do 1-minute hill sessions that are much more intense. And so as long as you know where and when to program these into your training, you're gonna be just fine. And I'll include a link to a lengthy article all about hill workouts underneath this video, so you can check that out on the Strength Running site. But hill workouts, just like hill strides or hill sprints, you are building strength by working against gravity, running uphill, recruiting a lot of muscle fibers. Really great way to get strong and reduce your injury risk if you can't lift weights. I want to take a quick break to thank our sponsor, Previnex. You can go to Previnex.com and use code JASON15 for 15% off your purchase. But Previnex is a very different kind of supplement company, and I want to thank them for all the work they're doing to helping runners with joint problems. I want to share some of the incredible testimonials from people who have started taking their joint health product. Now, I've never partnered with a supplement company before because I've never found one that I really believe in, but Previnex is different. They are, in my view, the best supplement company that you can find. They only use the most bioavailable ingredients. They do pharmaceutical grade manufacturing, testing of both raw ingredients and the finished product. And for every bottle of vitamins that you purchase, they're gonna donate a bottle to kids in need. Now, if you're a runner with joint problems, you've gotta try their Joint Health Plus product for all these reasons. I mean, it is clinically proven to reduce joint stiffness, to improve joint flexibility, and to reduce joint pain in just 7 to 10 days. And the testimonials from our YouTube and podcast audiences who have tried Joint Health Plus really do indicate that this is the real deal. Now, I don't have any joint problems, so I can't speak personally to this. I'm a big fan of Nourify, their vitamin, and also their immune support product. But Joint Health Plus seems to be practically a game changer for these athletes with joint problems. So if you want to try it out and support our YouTube channel, go to Previnex.com and enter in code JASON15. You're going to save 15% on your purchase, and if you get the vitamins, you're going to be helping kids in need, as well as investing in your health with what I think is one of the best supplement companies that you can find. Third on our list of strength building activities without actually lifting weights is high mileage. High mileage actually is a very strength building activity, with the caveat that it can be slightly risky as you're building mileage. So the building of mileage can be an injury risk, but once you're already at a fairly high volume and your body has fully adapted to it, you're used to it, and you're relatively comfortable with it, that gives you a lot of protection against injuries, and it does build a lot of strength. Because if we think about it, running high mileage is essentially just doing a lot of exercise, and it's a very indirect way of gaining strength, but nevertheless, it is a somewhat effective mechanism at building stronger leg muscles. So if you can very gradually, over time, build your mileage into the 50s, maybe the 60s, maybe if you're super aggressive and performance oriented and you want to push the envelope, you can get 70 plus and really see what you can do. But those mileage levels are going to build a lot of strength, because if you can run 50, 60 miles a week, your legs are conditioned to handle a lot more load. Now, our fourth strategy can be a little tricky, and it's very similar to high mileage. If you live in an area where you can get in a lot of trail hiking, trail hiking is actually quite an effective way at strengthening your legs for the demands of running, for very similar reasons that high mileage is. You're just conditioning your legs to handle a lot more load. So the key difference is that, one, it's a little bit harder. Generally speaking, most people don't have access to miles and miles of trails, but one of the reasons why it is very effective is because it's not as risky as just running high mileage, yet the mechanism is about the same. So if you are injury prone, and every time you build your mileage, even if you're going very slow, even if those increases are not too aggressive, you might find that adding 1, 2, 3 hours of trail hiking, especially if it's uphill, is going to be really effective at conditioning your legs for the demands of running. And that's really what every single one of these strategies is about. How do you condition the legs? How do you get stronger so that you can handle a long run, high mileage, so that you can handle faster workouts and all the impact forces that running demands? So all of these strategies are under the umbrella of conditioning the legs. We could do that by working against gravity with a variety of hill workouts and hill sprints, hill strides. High mileage is obviously going to be good for us if we can do it safely, and a lot of hill hiking can be really effective as well without all that injury risk. And I've saved the worst for last. This is not my favorite strategy. I think it's the least effective strategy, but that's using the elliptical. The elliptical is a running specific form of cross training that's going to be great at building your aerobic system and just some general endurance in a way that is going to have some good carryover to the sport of running. Now, it also builds some strength. Number one, you are under load. Your legs are supporting your body weight, unlike cycling or pool running, two of my other favorite forms of cross training for runners, but for different reasons. The elliptical, while incredibly boring, I hope you don't go too crazy on it, but the elliptical can be really great because you are under load. It's similar to going uphill, and you can actually program hill workouts into an elliptical machine. And the other thing that's really great about the elliptical is that the injury risk isn't very high. So you're not engaging in any plyometric movements like you are when you're running. You know, you're not landing, you're not jumping off the ground like you are when you're running. You're staying stationary on those elliptical pedals, and you're gradually, just sort of moving forward in that elliptical motion. So the injury risk is not nearly as high, but it can give you some strength benefits as well as some good cardiovascular benefits that are going to aid your running. Okay guys, well I hope this was helpful as you start thinking about how to get stronger without lifting weights. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, lifting weights is the most direct and effective way at getting stronger. So if that's truly your goal and you don't want to waste a lot of time doing, hiking or gradually trying to run high mileage for these benefits, let's get into the gym and lift some weights. If not, you can use these strategies and build a lot of strength and injury resilience into your training. If you enjoyed this video and it was helpful for you, hit that subscribe button. I don't want you to miss any. Plus, we have a lot of resources under this video if you want to do a deeper dive into strength training, injury prevention, or how you can race faster.